Hey everyone, welcome back to today's video. My name is Steph and today I'm going to be chatting with you about some of my favorite classic editions of books. This is something I've really kind of only learned about in like the last 6 months or so as I'm starting to consider what kind of books do I want to add on to my home collection, books that I want to have for myself as well as, my future children one day to be able to pass on with them and share with them. So that's got me thinking about this list and what books I particularly love to look at, to add to my Bookstagram pictures, and also to have for my collection. We're going to chat about that in today's video. If you like this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to my channel for more content like this from me. I don't own copies of all these books, but it's fun to dream and it's fun to think about, what I might be able to add to my bookshelf. Without further ado, let's get started. I'll show you the ones I have here on the top of my pile. I decided to start collecting the Anne of Green Gables series and the Emily of New Moon series by Lucy Maud Montgomery, Ellen Montgomery. There are many, many beautiful editions of these books, but I knew that I wanted to have paperbacks. I have the Emily of New Moon series, and I've been slowly collecting the Anne of Green Gables series. Now, I love these editions. I also love saving money, so I have been finding them on discount book sites and collecting them a little bit at a time. I now have all 3 of the books in this trilogy, and I have 6 out of the 8 of the Anne of Green Gables books, and I've been able to find them at a discount. Great way to add new books to my library without breaking the bank. Plus, aren't these gorgeous? The Emily of New Moons have like a lot of darker blues and purples, and Anne's start off with this pale blue, and as she matures and gets older, we see the blue could progress to more of like a medium darker blue. So I find that interesting as well to see that kind of comparison. I have read all the books in both these series and highly recommend, if you have not checked out these, get yourself a copy, borrow it from the library. Definitely check out these books. Next up, we have my Jane Austen collection. You've seen these in a couple other books, but I've not talked about too much about the edition. So this is our Mansfield Park edition. These are all the Larvae editions. I picked these out from Amazon and added them to my wish list for Christmas a couple years ago. I should say this, none of this is endorsed, it's just my personal opinion. Things I either fangirl over because I think they're pretty, or things that are practical for me as a reader. So this is the Larvae edition. Why did I pick these for my Christmas wish list? Well, because they weren't very expensive and they were pretty. That's basically all I need. I wanted them to be cute and functional. A little bit of practicality mixed in with the prettiness. The one drawback to these books, which I wish I had known before I purchased or before I asked for them, was that the font is pretty small. I had to look at this like under a really bright light. I do appreciate having them though, and I do really appreciate having them so compactly that they're easy to store on my bookshelf, and it's really great to have these great paperback copies of them. So the next few are ones that I don't own. The next edition that I am going to add to this list is the Puffin Chalk editions. So these books I think are just gorgeous. I've borrowed one from the library just to kind of get a feel for it because I've been considering adding this to my home library. These are no longer being printed, but they are in circulation, and I do see them a lot on thrift websites. I really like the pages are like variegated, so they're different lengths. They're really soft texture. I think these are really a kid-friendly way to like aesthetically pleasing, draw kids into these classic stories as well. So the stories, there are 6 of them in total. They're just gorgeous editions, and they're thin, they're light. They also have a little bit of history about the story, about the author. I thought that was cool. For the Peter Pan edition that I borrowed from my local library, it talks a little bit about J.M. Barrie and how Peter Pan came to be in existence. So I thought that was really neat to give some background story as well as give you a frame of reference before you even dive into the story. So definitely something that I really love and I'm considering adding to my library. So if you have these, or if you've ever, checked any of these books out of your library, let me know. Next up, we have the ever popular, ever gorgeous Puffin in Bloom, or Puffin Bloom. I've seen them described both ways. There are 4 of these books. These come in a set, or you can buy them individually, and they're gorgeous. Again, the font is pretty small. That might be something for you to consider, and I just think they're gorgeous. I love the designs. There's also another one within this collection that is not part of the set. Is Alice in Wonderland. I've also borrowed this from the library and it's gorgeous. It doesn't match the same size as the rest of them. This is more like a large edition book, but really beautiful for kids. There's a lot of illustrations in that one. I don't believe there are illustrations in the other 4 that are smaller, more compact. but in this Alice edition, it's larger than your typical. I would say it's probably about this big and yay big. So it is larger, but very beautiful to look at. And I think it makes the story very accessible with beautiful artistry that matches the cover on the outside. Next up, we have the Seasons editions. These are just beautiful. They have like the stencil effect on the outer layer of these hardbacks, and there's a color on the underneath part of the cover. You get this really cool silhouette effect. Be published with different famous classics ranging from Pride and Prejudice to Emma and Persuasion, Charles Dickens. I believe there's a Sherlock Holmes in that collection. There's also, I believe, Anne of Green Gables, Alice in Wonderland. I really do think they're beautiful, and I really appreciate the creativity and the artistry of each of these designs. Next up, we have the Drop Caps editions. I think these are beautiful, and there are a few reasons why I like this. One letter on the cover of each of these books. There are 26 in total, one for each letter of the alphabet, and each of the letters on the front covers is for the last name of a famous classical author. For example, A for Austen is Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. B is for Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. We have these iconic authors, but the thing I think is so cool is when you line all of them up together, they have a rainbow ombre effect where we gradually fade from cool colors to warm colors. I just love seeing them all paired up together. I also love that if you turn them sideways, if you're looking at the pages, the edges of the pages are all dyed the same color as the cover. So cool. So I think they're really pretty. I have considered getting these, but it's just 26 seems like a lot to collect, a lot to store. I don't want to have 1,000,001 books on my bookshelf, but they're also so gorgeous. Maybe I just need to make more room for books in my house. These are definitely gorgeous and something I really just enjoy seeing when I go visit bookstores, and a few I've borrowed from the library just to check them out. A cool thing to add to any home collection. These drop caps are indeed hardbacks, as well as the next books I'm going to be adding, which are the cloth-bound books. These are beautiful, very creatively designed classics ranging from Charles Dickens to Homer's The Odyssey to Jane Austen. There are lots of different sets of these or individual stories, and they come out with more of these each year. So I believe there are over 20, maybe 20 to 30 of these so far. So these are some beautiful books. Beautiful creative designs. I know they're continuing to add to this collection, so I'm interested to see what comes next in this series of classics. Last but not least in this collection is the Barnes & Noble collection. There's some really beautiful hardbacks. They're a little bit bulkier. They would take up a little bit more space on a bookshelf, and they're really pretty. Some of them have gold edging. Others are just leather bound covers. They're really pretty. The Jane Austen collection I think is gorgeous, and again, they're reasonably priced. Again, I'm not being asked to endorse these. I don't own these, but I went to Barnes & Noble a few days ago and just stared at the table for a few minutes and thought about how beautiful these books were before I walked away and didn't buy any of them. So I always try to be practical. I don't want to buy too many books that I already own because I'd love to make room for books that I don't own already. But I do like sharing about them on Bookstagram and on YouTube, and just spreading the word and hearing what other people like to read and enjoy having. So I thought this was a fun conversation to have, and I hope you maybe got something out of this, or maybe you own a couple of these, so let me know if you do, or if you've been eyeing any of these editions up. Let me know which one's your favorite in the comments, and I will chat with you guys soon in my next video. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like this, be sure to like and subscribe for my channel for more content like this from me. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great day, and find a book that brings some sunshine to your day. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye!